Hello my loves and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and we're at the start of another weekly reading vlog and I don't know what I'm reading this week because it is the time of the chaos. I am taking part in 2 different readathons. If you've seen my previous weekly reading vlogs you'd know I'm taking part in Winterathon hosted by Rainy. As you can see I'm actually doing pretty well on this. I've already got 1 bingo and we're on my way to completing the 2nd bingo. So that's going great. I'm happy with that. However, we are starting another readathon today and that is Danny's bucket list-athon, and this is where the chaos is gonna come in because I am rolling as I go. So this is a month-long readathon but it's taking place from the 15th of November to the 15th of December, and the idea, you have 2 different modes that you can play this game. You've got hard mode or easy mode. I'm going for easy mode. You have to roll a minimum of 5 times. If you land on the same color twice on easy mode you have to have an additional roll, and on easy mode you start in one corner and you're just trying to get to another corner doing your rolls as well. Because of this, it's basically putting my TBR into chaos. I don't know what I'm going to be reading. I have 4 books left on my November TBR that I do want to read. One of them I have to read because it's a buddy read, so I'm going to be reading it regardless. But yeah, we're just gonna see. So I figured what we'd do first is actually roll for this readathon. From there, we'll talk about all the books that I'm reading because I'm actually in the middle of like 3 different books, well, technically 5 different books, but 2 of them I plan on finishing tonight for last week's vlog. But then I am in the middle of 3 other books, so hopefully one of those will fit one of the roles, or at least the buddy read will, or we could have something that doesn't fit anything and we're just gonna have an extra book to read. So because I don't know, let's just go straight into that first role I'm genuinely terrified about, but okay. Let's do this. As we can see, I have recreated Danny's board. Now everything that is meant to match colour, I have matched. They're just in different colours because it's just the paint that I had available at the time. I'm starting off in the back corner, which is physical TBR, because my physical TBR is huge and I need all the help I can get. Let's just get straight into this. I actually don't know what corner I want to go to as my 2nd corner that I have to achieve, but I'm honestly not too worried about that. I feel like I could get to new releases easily. Like, I feel like it's doable. But okay, roll number 1. Let's go. 4. Let's see, that puts us either at Goodreads nominee, which honestly I don't really focus on the Goodreads nominees, but they have just come out, so I could have a look through the list and see if there's one I like. I could do old read. That's not helpful because that's all about reading the oldest book of my TBR, which is not available on my November TBR. Unless I did it out of my November TBR, that's a shout. Or I could do favourite author if I went round this way and do favourite author, except I've got nothing on my November TBR that is left as a favourite author, or they're all new authors. Let's have a look through Goodreads nominees, see if there's anything on there, and we may end up doing the old read and read the oldest book on my November TBR. And wherever the next role is, we'll just put it whatever I chose. Oh my god. Did I totally start talking and not press record? Yes. This vlog is going to be Cozy Chaos. That is the title of this vlog. But okay, so I am going to have a look through the Goodreads Choice Awards for 2024 just to see if there's anything I want to read. I could look in 2023, but I'm not going to. We're just going to have a look at 2024. If there's nothing really shouting out to me there, then we will go through my November TBR and just read the oldest publication date on my TBR. Let's just jump straight to mystery thriller. I did already vote in this just because I was going through briefly. The God of the Woods is a book I really want to read. Don't think there was anything else in this. Like, I briefly looked through and I literally pressed vote on the ones I'd read. We Solve Murders I did just read recently and I did enjoy. Nothing there. Fantasy, I loved The Tainted Cup, so definitely voted on that. A Sweet Sting of Salt is a book I've been interested in. The Book of Doors Danny loved, so I definitely am interested in that one. Empire of the Damned, I really want to read this, but I'm waiting for paperback, which is coming in February. The Familiar, that's on my TBR. That is on my physical TBR, so I could read that, but that is not on my... Okay, you know what? I'm not being smart. I think if Goodreads Awards comes up again, we'll go for The Familiar. I should probably be smart and just go through my November TBR and see what one has been published the oldest, so I actually read my November TBR. So we have these books on my November TBR to read. Do you think it's going to end up being Miss Benson's Beetles? So let's start off with this one. Oh, okay, it's nowhere near as old as I thought it was. Okay, this was 2020. Bright Young Women, Librarian. Okay, not this one, that's 2023. The Housekeepers, also 2023. Every Exquisite Thing, I don't think this is going to be old at all because this one was last year, I think. Yep, September 2023. But I do also have this book which I need to read, and this is for my first ever in real life book club, copyright 2022. So it is Miss Benson's Beetle by Rachel Joyce, which works out perfectly actually because this is the buddy read that I'm doing with Kat over at the Fairy Librarian. We are going to be reading this. I think the plan is to read this over 2 weeks, and I'm going to message her. I actually meant to do it earlier today to find out how she would like to do this. So I think I'm gonna message her and see if she feels okay with reading to chapter 28 this week. So we are going to go from oldest on TBR. Now I will be reading more than this week, so I think I'm also going to do one more roll to see what that extra book is, because I'm probably going to read a bit of this each day and then have another book on the go. So let's do that. Oh, I'm so pleased. I did need to read this book. I was going to be starting it this week regardless. Very happy that that's on here. But okay, let's go for a second roll and find out what the second book is going to be. In that first roll, we did go round the edge. 1, 2, 3, 4 to old read, and now we have another roll, and I've got to remember I've landed on that pink once already, so I'm probably going to put a mark maybe along here to say where I've been. Let's do a second roll. 5. Okay, so we have again lots of options. 5 TBR. We could randomly generate my TBR. Intimidating read. That's scary. I don't want to do that. Would also be, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we could do a 5-star. I don't have one on my TBR that I think's good. Oh, actually I do have one that I think could be 5-star. Oh, but this is not part of a series, because technically this 5-star is a part of the series. So is it meant to be a 5-star series, or can I just do a 5-star? Okay, otherwise it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or we could go back round, I guess, and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. New purchase. No, that won't work. I'm doing all this waffling, but honestly the smartest choice is probably this, and then I'm gonna stick with that should be a 5-star in a series rather than a separate one, because it's part of that series bit. And like we had a 5-star here that I feel like is a 5-star part of the physical TBR. That's how I'm gonna take it. So I think we're gonna go down here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to screen record a random number generator for these 4 books. Now technically this one here I don't actually need to read in November. I can push that one back to the first week of December, so it's not so much of a problem. But the other 3 I do really want to get to in November. So we're just going to do a random number generator between 1 and 4, and we're going to start it with 1 being Every Exquisite Thing. Ah, my tree light is really dying on me. Don't die. Number 2 will be Housekeepers. Number 3 will be Bright Young Women. And number 4 will be The Imposium. Okay, so let's get up this random number generator. Screen recorder's on. I've got the number generator between 1 and 4. Let's press generate and see what it gives us. 2. Okay. Number 2 is The Housekeepers by Alex Hay. And this is a book I have been really looking forward to reading. This is meant to be kind of like a fun crime time where the servants of the household pull off the heist of the century. The madam is planning the party of the season, but she's just fired her housekeeper. And so she is gathering a load of women together to pull off this heist as a I'm gonna get you back for that, so a bit of a revenge. It sounds like it's gonna be really fun, and I actually think this paired with Miss Benson's Beetle is going to be a really fun cozy reading week. I'm really happy with this. I will, as always, later in the vlog go through what prompts each of these books are fitting for on Rainy's Winterathon, but this is the start of Danny's bucket list-athon. That is the intro. We now know what we're reading. This was so chaotic and all over the place, but it's been really fun. I'm actually not starting either of these books tonight because I do need to finish the reads for last week's vlog, so I'm probably not going to get to these until tomorrow at the earliest. We'll see when I actually start reading these. I feel like this is going to be a really nice combination and probably just the right reading amount for this week as well. I am actually also reading an ebook which is called Quicksilver by Callie Hart, and this is a book that I actually picked up because of Rainy. Rainy really loved this one. She did a recent video where she was ranking the different romantasy reads, and this one came out on top. So I've started reading this. I'm not too far into this book actually, but this is a fae centered book. I am currently up to page 87 out of 610. I have no idea what chapter I'm in the middle of. I'm in the middle of, chapter 7. And in this one, we're following a main character. She's living in this really horrible world. It's this desert type world, and water is a commodity. However, her people where she is seen as the lowest of the low. They get water rations, and they are only allowed a tiny bit of water a day, except it's not even fresh water. It is the runoffs from everybody who lives in the pristine city. And this really maniacal queen is in charge, and she's honestly a bit doolally. And fae have always been told as a bit of a bedtime story to children to behave, and so they don't really believe in them. But our main character, she's just trying to survive. She's trying to look after her brother, and we first meet her where she is stealing something from the city guard, which sets off this chain of events, and it turns out that the fae are real. I'm really intrigued by this one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun from what Rainey said. So far, I'm finding it a super easy read. Like, this is I call them my head empty, no thoughts book, where you really don't have to pay attention to the storyline. I kind of know what's going to happen. It really reminds me of other books I've already read, such as Trial of the Sun Queen, kind of like a mix up of a Sarah J. Maas book, but I'm also really enjoying it. Like, it's easy to read. Our main character is very gutsy and feisty. She's not quite like other girls, but it's fun. You know, I'm enjoying it. She is somebody that has a lot of swagger about her, but is entertaining. Those are all the books I'm reading. So we have my ebook. I am reading a short story collection, but I'm not going to get into that right now, probably in the next update, because I plan on finishing that out soon. And I am also in the middle of a book for the cozy reading vlog. So lots of different things going on at the minute, but that's exactly how I like it. But apart from this chaos intro, the rest of this vlog, we're going to get back to our regularly scheduled coziness, and I think we've got the perfect books to do that with. So yes, I hope you enjoy. Probably going to be another long one, and thank you so much for watching, taking the time to comment. We are so close to 5,000 subscribers, and I'm genuinely in disbelief. I will catch up with you in a few days time when I've actually started some of these books, and we'll go from there. As you would have seen from the b-roll, I did set up my December reading journal as well as the winter TBR bit. I actually really like how this turned out. I thought it was really nice. Just kind of gave me all those winter feels. Simple but effective. And then with December, I had a bunch of stickers. Like, I bought this sticker pack to use. This was a sticker that I found at Comic-Con, I think a little while ago now. Very simple, my usual, although with the title of it going down the side because I actually really like that. Although I did forget to do a separate page for my Relax and Readathon, so I just have it kind of shoved in here. Mainly because as much as I would be like, oh, I can just do another page, it's not a problem. The rest of this I've actually already planned out for next year. Next year is able to fit inside here, which I'm really happy with because I don't like wasting pages. And because of the way I've done it and I just forgot to put the Relax and Readathon in here, that's now the way it is. But you know what, it's fine, it fits just about, it's not a problem. Can't believe we're at the end. I'm going to be doing an end of year like overview and then we're going to be going into January. I'm not sure whether to do a separate video or not setting this up or how I'm going to do that, because I feel like the weekly vlogs, having this set up is fine because it doesn't take too long. I don't know, I might do maybe across like 2 weekly reading vlogs, having the yearly setup for next year and then do the January setup maybe. I'm not sure, we'll see how it goes. That's that done, which I'm really pleased with. As you saw, Hermione was definitely getting in the way. She was not that happy that I was journaling yesterday. She just kept wanting to sit on top of it. And I have started reading The Housekeepers. I'm enjoying this so far. I'm up to chapter 12, page 107. This is the second book in a short space of time that I've had where it's only doing the chapters on this side of the page. So you get these sometimes blank pages if the chapter finishes a bit beforehand, which is just like, why? I mean, it doesn't really make sense, but there we are. So far, I'm enjoying this. I was thinking about it last night about how would I talk about this book. Then I made that connection to Ocean's 11. Now, that's a film I haven't seen in ages, but Ocean's 11, this is what it's reminding me of, but just make it historical fiction with women only. It's a lot of fun, but I do wish there was more humour and banter between our characters. So we start off following Mrs. King as she is getting dismissed from the house that she has worked at for years, as she decides that she is going to pull off this massive heist while this ball is going on, and she's going to strip the house of all of its jewels and collectibles and things. To do this though, she needs help. So the first part of this book, we've just been getting all our different players together, but I do feel like I would like more banter in this. It is intriguing because there's clearly personal ties for each of these characters in different ways to this house and the reasons why they're doing all of this. You haven't learn all of them. One of them, yes, but not everyone. So I feel like that's something that's slowly going to be unpicked as we go through the book. I am just missing that camaraderie between them, you know, and instead there's a lot of like seriousness and tension between the different characters. They haven't worked all together before like that. They need to learn to trust one another and things. But I feel like a little bit of like laughter, a little bit of humour, just to alleviate some of that tension would be really good in this book. For now, I'm enjoying it. I think it's intriguing. I'm looking forward to seeing how they do this heist. Yeah, just kind of going from there. It does count down the hours until the heist is taking place in each of the chapters, which I enjoy. We're also getting some flashback to different things that have happened, so again you get a bit more context, you get to know the characters a little bit more. Overall, I'm liking it. There's a couple things I would like to really make me go, oh, I'm really enjoying this. I haven't started Miss Benson's Beetle yet. I plan on starting it today. As we know, I'm not reading the whole thing, I'm only reading half of it, but I thought this would be a good point to talk about what prompts each of these books are fulfilling for Winter-a-thon. For The Housekeepers, the only prompt that this fulfills is over 400 pages, which I did have a little bit of a freak out yesterday because I realised the actual story in this is just under 400 pages, like 9 pages short. However, in this edition, I do have an extra short story that's tied in, that's just following our characters, I think a little bit after, about 20 pages long. So it just about fits the over 400 pages prompt. So I am going to tick that off now because I know I'm going to get this finished. I'm aiming to read about 100 pages a day, meaning that I'll get this finished hopefully over the next 3 days. We'll see if it actually pans out that way, but yeah, it's an easy read. So I think 100 pages a day is doable. For Miss Benson's Beetle, total, I am doing this for Thrifted. However, I'm not going to tick it off just yet because of the fact that I'm only reading half of it this week, and then I'm going to be reading the last half of it next week. So I'm going to tick this one off next week, but this is the one that is fitting for is Thrifted. And then of course we have the ebook I'm currently reading, which is Quicksilver, and this one can fit for a lot of prompts actually. So we've got a weapon on the cover, snow on the cover. This could also be a friend recommendation because it is a recommendation that I picked up because of rainy. It also could fit for start of a series, so I do believe this is a start of a series. So there's quite a lot that it can fit for, but thinking about what I can possibly do with bingo spaces. So as we know, we're pretty much on the way to completing the top line of bingo because we've got over 400 pages this week, Thrifted book next week, and then TBR veteran. I do have one on my November TBR, so hopefully Danny's game will also fit that. So hopefully that should be our second bingo. I'm trying to think what other bingo line I can do because I'm also reading Teller of Small Fortunes, but for my cozy reading vlog. I'm not going to talk about what this one is about, but I'm almost done with it, so I can at least use it to tick off a prompt. And this one works for magical creatures and a BIPOC author. So I'm thinking if we did this one for magical creatures, which I'm going to tick off here, but you're not going to hear me mention this again until that cozy new releases vlog comes out. So that's magical creatures. Then if we did Quicksilver for weapon on the cover, that just leaves free space. Got highest rated on Goodreads and TBR veteran. Obviously I've already spoke about TBR veteran. Hopefully the book I've got in my November TBR works for Danny's game. And then highest rated on Goodreads, I could make a selection of books that I need to read, so like from the November ones, or if Danny's game gives me some random options, and then see what ones are highest rated on Goodreads and hopefully get that in, because I don't have my whole TBR shelf on Goodreads anymore because I'm just not keeping up with it. So I'm thinking I could do that. We'll see, I'm not sure, but that would be amazing. Imagine if I got 3 bingos, I'd be so happy with that. I am on my way to 2 for definite. Quicksilver, I honestly don't even know if I'm going to get it finished in time because I only read a tiny little bit more. I'm still under 100 pages read, and this book is 610 pages long, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it done, because I also do need to start reading the ebook for the cozy new releases video, which I just haven't picked up yet. So I really need to get this one read. But at least we're getting 2. We're on our way to 2, although we've only ticked off 1 this week because the other one will be finishing next week. But that, at least that's going well. We enjoyed that. Now the reason why I haven't been reading much of Quicksilver is because of another book I'm in the middle of, which is Autumn Chills by Agatha Christie. This is my short story collection for autumn that I've been really enjoying, and I've got 2 short stories left to go. And what I've been doing is taking this one to work so that I can read it on my lunch breaks, and I've really enjoyed doing that. It's been lovely just to read a little short story while I'm on my lunch break, but it has meant instead of reading the ebook Quicksilver, I have instead been reading this, which I wanted to do because I have the winter mystery set for winter, so I need to make sure I finish this in November because obviously it's the end of autumn. But I've got 2 left, so I don't think I'm going to get that 3rd bingo. This one I've already used as a bingo prompt for one of the short stories, which was a reread, which I really enjoyed, and I've actually had a new Miss Marple story, at least I think it's new, which was the tape measure murder. I'm pretty sure that was new. I don't think I was in the other short story collection I have of Miss Marple stories, so that was really fun because Miss Marple is my favourite. I really enjoy her. Lots of books I'm in the middle of reading, but I enjoy the chaos of it all. For now, we're going to be filming my December TBR and seeing what that brings us. I have a few books I need to read as always, but we'll just see what the game brings. And then, as I say, just more reading and relaxing. I would like to read 100 pages of Housekeepers, start Miss Benson's Beetle, and we'll just go from there. I'm hoping that if I can finish this one up by, say, Friday, then I can do one more roll for Danny's Readathon game and have another book that I can at least start over the weekend is the plan. We'll see what happens because I'm kind of getting busier. Today is like my last day for me to just chill and do nothing. Tomorrow I've got my partner coming around. We've been watching the new Arcane series, which I've been enjoying so much. So we've got 3 more episodes to read. We've got 3 more episodes to watch tomorrow, which is going to be really fun. Thursday I'm meeting my mum and my nephew. Then Friday I've got that one random shift at work just because I'm helping a friend out, and then Saturday, I'm meeting my sister in the evening to go to theatre. We're going to be seeing Dracula in the local theatre, which is going to be really fun. But that does mean I don't have quite as much reading time. Oh my god. And to make my reading time even shorter, I reset my Animal Crossing island, because of course I did. I was just feeling so like burnt out on the other island, and I was like, I don't like the layout of this island anymore. Yeah, I just wanted to go back to enjoying it as an actual like just fun game where you just catch fish and bugs and chop trees and, you know, do those sort of things rather than being so focused on getting a theme done. And I was like, I just need to just restart and actually just play this how I originally started playing the game before I started getting obsessed with having set themes, to just enjoy it. So that's what I did. I reset it yesterday, played a little bit this morning, cutting into reading time, but it's fine. You know, you've got lots of hobby. We'll see what we get done. If I don't get this done by that point and we don't get another roll done for Danny's read, it's fine, because we know we're going to start off next week with it. So it's one of those things. I'm trying to be a little bit more lenient on things. At the same time, I also love reading and I really want to get to loads of things. So, but okay, I've rambled on for ages. I've got a whole other video to film and ramble at you in. So I'm going to get set up for my December TBR video and yeah, go from there. You know what? I'm pretty impressed with how much I got done yesterday. I actually read a good amount from all of my books, which is amazing. And I got 2 videos filmed, bigger videos filmed, which I'm really pleased with. So we got my December TBR filmed and sorted. And I also did my 25 to read in 2025. And I'm really happy with how that all turned out. I didn't edit anything. I need to start doing some editing today, but you know what? We got a good amount done. I'm really pleased with the reading progress that I made. I also had some time to play some Animal Crossing, which I've been really enjoying, and I'm just enjoying the fact that I have restarted and I'm just playing it. First played it, which was just for fun rather than focusing so much on trying to get town in a particular theme and all of this stuff, like ignoring all of that and just having fun with it. Really enjoying it a lot more. But okay, you're here for reading update and I have some, I don't know, it's like, it's okay news, but it's not like anything amazing. Apart from one book I'm really enjoying, and we'll save that one for last. But okay, so I didn't start off the day reading this, no. But I did read 100 pages of The Housekeepers, so I'm now up to chapter 23, page 213. It's an easy enough read, but I'm just not enjoying this book that much, and it's just because of the characters. Everything that's going on plot-wise, I'm actually really enjoying. I actually like the fact that there is more that's going on, something that we've just discovered. I feel like it's very slow paced. The fact that we're this far into the book and we're building up to the heist, we've only got 6 hours to go, and we've just learned this other thing as to why so many of these women are getting involved with this house, which, you know, I appreciate, but I think we're still missing the character dynamic, having that bit of banter between each of the characters, having them feel like they're more three-dimensional characters. I feel like each of these characters feel a little bit flat right now, which is a bit annoying because I'm a character-driven person. I would rather my characters be fully fleshed out and then the plot not as much. It's kind of the other way around. It's got a good plot to it, it's interesting, but I'm just not connecting with the characters as much. And it's a shame because when I was reading the synopsis, I thought it would be a lot more fun than what it actually is. You know what, I can say this was a good pick from my mum because this was gifted to me from my mum, and this synopsis is the sort of thing that I would really enjoy. It's not quite carrying it off in the more light-hearted manner that I would have preferred. Instead, this is very serious, tensions are really high, there's a lot of bickering going on between people, which the bickering is fine, but there's nothing to alleviate some of that. There's no like humor or anything put into this to break it up a little bit. So I'm finding that it does get a little bit tedious. So I've been breaking it up. I read about 40 to 50 pages, put it down, and then I'll come back to it and read the next lot. And it is an easy enough read, and there are parts of it that are intriguing. It's just at the same time I'm finding it a bit long and a little bit dense now. So we'll see. I'm still gonna finish this one out because I'm hoping that we do start getting some of that interaction and the banter between the characters, and maybe it's just we're building it up, I don't know. But at the minute it's an okay book. Like, it's literally just my personal preference and the expectation I put on the book. The book itself is good, there's nothing wrong with it, it's just I'm not quite connecting to it the way I wanted. So after I'd done my 100 pages of that book, I really needed a break, and I just needed something that was completely different. And I could have gone for my cozy new releases vlog book, but I decided not to. Instead, I decided to pick up Quicksilver, and this was exactly what I needed. It was a change of pace, it was a complete palette cleanser from the books I had been reading, which is what I wanted. But I will say I'm kind of struggling with this one a little bit as well, just because there are moments in this book where it's just so much information dumping. So I'm up to chapter 11, page 151, so I think I read like 2 chapters or something yesterday. I'm finding that, again, I can't really read more than that in a row. It's a lot of telling us things rather than showing us things, which is a bit frustrating. So we get told, so we've got Ceres, she's in the Fae world, and we have this guy called Kingfisher, or Fae called Kingfisher, and he's meant to be this really dangerous person. Constantly get told that, but we're not shown that at any point, and it's just like, okay. And parts of it are interesting. I'm intrigued about this interpretation of Fae, which I do like, but then we get just moments of just so much information that's just thrown at you, and I kind of get it because Ceres is learning about all of this stuff. Before this, Fae were just used as stories to frighten children into behaving, and so now she's actually realizing, okay, they're actually real, and so she is getting a lot of information thrown at her. But I just feel like it's not handled well. It just feels like we just get paragraphs of, oh, here's some information about the world, rather than it being a more natural flow into the book. So yeah, so it's a bit of a weird one, but it is perfect for when I'm needing a change of pace. So after reading The Housekeepers, it is really good to read Quicksilver because it is such a completely different book, and so I do like it for that. It's just I think I've read other fantasy books, well, fantasy romance books where we've got Fae involved and stuff, that I just prefer that a little bit more. I know Rainey absolutely loved this one, so I am going to keep reading it to see if I ever get to that point of, oh, okay, I love it. Maybe it's just getting past all this world building part and, you know, getting to know everyone properly. Maybe it's just that, but I don't know. For me, I'm not loving this one, which I feel really bad saying, but yeah, it's just not quite working how I wanted it to, but it does work for a really nice palette cleanser when I've just had enough of my physical reads, which is really good. But in better news, I'm really enjoying Miss Benson's Beetle. I did my usual, worked out how many pages a day I'd need to read, because me and Kat are only reading up to page 190 and then reading the rest next week. And I did start doing that. I started off my day reading the first, I think it was like 40 odd pages, really enjoyed it, was having a really good time with it, was like, okay, put it down, get on with my day, do some bits and bobs. And then the evening came and I'd read my 100 pages of Housekeepers, I'd read my bit of Quicksilver, and I was like, I just want to read something better rather than leaving my day on this note. And so I decided to go back to Miss Benson's Beetle, and now I am up to page 80, chapter 12, and I'm really enjoying this. This is really fun. Have 2 different point of views, but I'm not going to tell you who the second point of view is, because that is a really nice addition to this book that I did not expect. It's not been talked about anywhere, and so I was not expecting it, and I'm really happy with it, and I don't want to take that away from anyone, so I'm not going to talk about that second perspective. But the main perspective we do get is Miss Benson, Marjorie Benson, and we start following her when she is a child. We get a kind of like almost like a prequel chapter where we see her first becoming enamored by this beetle, and then also a lot of really sad things that have happened to her. This book is taking place just after World War II, I want to say. We've got Churchill in power, there's rationing going on, and Miss Benson, she is now a lot older and she hasn't done what she wanted to do, which is to find this beetle. You know, instead she's been a teacher, she's not very happy with her life and things, and so she then just has this kind of like snap decision moment where she just walks out of her job and decides, that's it, I'm done, I'm going to find this bloody beetle. And so that's what she does, and we get her assistant come along, and I'm just really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the interactions between the different characters in here. I think Enid, Pretty, her assistant, and Marjorie, they're so completely different. It works so well together, which I'm really enjoying. I love how they are so complete opposites of one another, and I just think their interactions are so much fun. I am really enjoying the characters in this book, and I'm really intrigued to see where this is going and how this message really is, you are never ever too old to go out and do the thing you've always wanted to do. And I love that. I think that's a brilliant message to have, because I think so much of life, especially women, are told, well, that's it, once you hit menopause your life is over. And it's like, that's rubbish. That is so much rubbish. Age is a number, and you know what, you are never too old to start something new. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. This is just really fun, enjoyable, really liking the characters. Today, however, I don't think I'm going to be reading anywhere near as much because I've got my partner coming over. We're going to be watching a couple more episodes of Arcane season 2, and I do have a bit of editing I need to get done, as I mentioned, before he comes over. So I'm probably not going to read much today, but we will get back to the reading probably tomorrow. Tomorrow is a slightly busier day. I'm meeting my mum. I'm getting the last of my Christmas shopping done, which feels great to say because I'm in like the middle of November and I'm getting my Christmas shopping done. All right, towards the end of the middle of November, but still, I'm feeling very good. But yeah, okay, my camera battery is flashing at me, so I need to go. It's literally been a few hours and I have just spent those few hours procrastinating. Well, some of it's been spent doing things I need to do. Like I did edit the TBR video. That's all done. That's ready to go. Very happy with all of that. But then I just didn't want to get to reading, so I was thinking about it. I'm like, still got a few hours before my partner comes around. It'd be really good to get my 100 pages read of The Housekeepers, and yet I've been doing everything but reading. I spent some time doing some research into different YouTubers ready for Battle of the Booktuber. I've spent time updating my Goodreads, so that's all up to date as well. So I did a lot of work for Battle of the Booktuber, which you don't know what that is, you have to check out Danny's channel. She's done an amazing competition between different YouTubers, and I've been feeling the heat now because we're getting close to having to put forward our recommendations for the championship round, which I'm a part of. So I've been doing lots of work around that. I was then making plans of like, okay, I actually need to pop out to shop, and I was like, okay, no, right, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna read for an hour, and then I can go out and do those things. And instead of sitting there, I was scrolling Instagram instead of reading, and that's when I know I'm not looking forward to this book. I'm not. And I could ignore this and read Miss Benson's Beetle, and I'd be happy to do that, but I also wanted to do that tomorrow evening because technically I already read today's pages yesterday, and I don't want to get too far ahead so that me and Kat can talk about it. I actually want to message her in a bit to say, you know, have you started it, you know, and like my first thoughts and things, so I don't want to get too far into that straight away. So I really wanted to read some of this, and I just don't want to. Instead, what we're gonna do now is do a new role for Bucket List-athon. Do that instead and get a different book. This, I don't know whether it's going to be a full DNF or just a DNF for now. As a result though, it's coming off of Winterathon. We're going to take that away because until I complete it and complete the 400 pages, I'm not going to count DNFs as part of this bingo board. I could check with Rainy and see if I'm allowed to count DNFs, but I don't want to, so I'm not going to. However, I will still count the DNFs for Danny's Bucket List-athon because obviously that's a slightly different game to me. I don't know why I'm making up these rules for myself, but that's what I'm doing. So we're going to put this down for now. If I finish it out, it will go back onto Winterathon as the over 400 pages, but right now I just don't have the energy in me to read this book. I want something different. I want something that's got a bit more going on. We're gonna roll for Bucket List-athon, and we'll do our third roll, which was I expecting to do 3 in this week? No, but let's go. Right, let's do that third roll and see what prompt we get this time. 6. What options do we have? I could go through life, and then that's 2 corners done, so I might do that. Let's see. So I could start a series, which doesn't help with any of my November reads, but it could also help with my mood. Or I could do end of year goal. I actually don't have any end of year goals for this year. Suppose I could do something off of my autumn TBR, because that is a seasonal TBR I'm trying to get through, so I could do that. I don't want to go backwards, so I think we're either going to do start a series or end of year goal. Let's do end of year goal and see what's on my autumn TBR. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Completed life. Really happy with that. Oh wait, do I have... Oh, cruds! Oh no! If I do blue, that means I've got an additional roll to do. Alright, fine. We'll just do an additional roll. That means we're doing 6 rolls. So I've got 3 more rolls to do. Let's talk about this face to face. Okay, so we have landed on end of year goal, but that means I've landed on blue twice, which means we have to do an additional roll, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm just going to add it to the tally. I was doing easy mode, so I've got 3 more I need to do, but because of the way I'm doing this, I think I'm just going to keep rolling to the 4 weeks are done and do it that way. So we're going to end up with more rolls. So I'm just going to put it as I've completed easy mode pretty much and do it that way. Look, does this make sense, or am I just using Danny's TBR game to just add chaos to my life for a few weeks? Yes, but it makes sense in my head, okay? But okay, we had prompt of end of year goal, which as I said, I didn't actually start off the year with any goals in mind. However, a goal I have been doing every season is my seasonal TBR. And we're in November, so that means we've got my autumn seasonal TBR to do. So we've got, ooh, okay, a book oh my god, okay, I actually had quite a lot that was on my normal TBR to read. The Housekeepers was on my autumn TBR. Another book I have on my TBR that's on my autumn TBR as well, Bright Young Women. So this would work for my November TBR and my autumn TBR. I'm just in the mood for something completely different. I want something completely, I know what I want. I know the book I want, and I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't do it, but I'm going to. I'm not gonna lie, if anyone guessed that this is what I was thinking of, I am impressed. Nona the Ninth is on my autumn TBR, and I have been constantly thinking about this damn book. I really want to read it. I have adored Gideon the Ninth and Harrow the Ninth. I have loved those books. I read them earlier this year. And you know what I want? I want something completely different to everything that I'm reading, and that's what this is gonna do. Okay, look, is it the smart decision? Should I be reading Nona the Ninth? No. No, I should not, because I do have my November TBR still to go. However, I'm just not in the mood for any of the books on my November TBR. Don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying Miss Benson's Beetle, we'll still carry on with that, but I do want to take my time with it. I want to be reading a little bit at a time. So like what I did yesterday, I read it first thing in the morning and then just before I went to bed, and that was lovely. And I could read more of it today, but I really need something different. I mean, you can't get more different than this. This, if you don't know, is the 3rd book in the Locked Tomb series, and it is so different. It's a sci-fi series that is really weird and unusual, and it's quite complex, and so it's another reason why I didn't want to be putting this off much longer, because it's been a couple months now since I've read Harrow the Ninth, and I know with this series you really need to keep on top of what's going on because there's so many different spinning plates that you have to keep in mind. In the 1st book we're following Gideon, who is trying to flee the 9th planet, but she gets stopped by Harrow, who is the princess, and is like, no, instead you're going to be my bodyguard while I attend this really exclusive trial thing that's going on to become this esteemed person within our society, even more so than just being a princess. And while they're there at the trials, like, she tells Gideon, don't get involved, I don't want your help, and then people start dying, and there's loads of different things going on. It's honestly, it's crazy. Yeah, this is what I want to read, and so that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna go sit down, start reading this for a bit, chill out with my partner in the evening and stuff, and we'll just see how much of this to get read. Do I think I'm gonna finish it in this weekly vlog? No. Am I going to finish a single book in this vlog? Probably not. No, I'm not going to lie. I don't think I'm going to finish anything. It's not that I'm in a slump per se. It's very rare that I hit an actual reading slump, but I do get a moment where I just don't know what I want to read, where everything I'm picking up, nothing's really calling to me. And that's kind of where I'm at. I feel like in November, like, I haven't had bad books, but I think since like the end of October going into November, I haven't had anything that's made me go, oh my god, this is amazing, this is a new favorite, apart from my cozy books, which is great and I love them, but I do like having a change of cozy. Like, I can read cozy all the time. This lighting is awful, I apologize. What is going on? But it's something where I'm like, cozy is great and lovely. Sometimes you just want something with a bit of pace, a little bit fast paced and stuff, and Quicksilver, because of the info dump and the things I'm having with it and I can't read a lot of it, it's not quite working, whereas normally that would work for something for me to just change up. So Nona the Ninth it is. quite a busy but good day yesterday. It was nice. It was nice to meet up with the family, spend a bit of time with them. I finished all my Christmas shopping. I'm really pleased with that. I love getting done early because then it's just so much less stress closer to the time. Reading update. So I only read a tiny bit more of Miss Benson's Beetle. I'm now up to chapter 14, page 97, and I'm liking it. I just think it's really fun. Everything I've already said, like I can't add loads to what I already said because I only read a tiny bit of it yesterday. I do plan on reading a little bit before I've got work today, but I've got literally just under 100 pages left to go for the reading of this week. But so far I'm liking it. It's kind of living up to what I thought would happen with this book, is that it would be just a cozy read. There's nothing too much going on, although we do have that one point of view that I feel like is a bit intriguing and it adds a little extra element to the story. And we've just had some reveals around Enid, which I do like. It's just really nice. I think we're really going to see these two women grow into themselves and seeing them form that friendship, but also the different trials and things that life's going to bring with it. I don't know. I think it's really nice, really heartwarming. So I'm looking forward to reading some more of this, plan to before I go to work. And then Nona, I haven't got far into it. I've read up to chapter 8, page 95. And when I started this, I read the first chapter and I was like, oh, I'm a bit confused, which I knew to expect with these books. I decided that I would look up online a kind of like in-depth overview of what happened in Harry the Ninth, because I remembered some of the bigger things, but like I mentioned already, this book is all about, well, this series is all about the details. And I found one on Reddit that was really helpful, and as soon as I'd read that, I then put everything together in this and I was like, oh yeah, this is what happened. My recommendation for this series is read them back to back. It makes so much more sense when you're reading them back to back. Even then, you're still going to be confused a little bit because not everything gets explained. You really have to work at this series. It doesn't give you all the answers off the bat. Every time you pick up the next book in the series, you're at a different place. Different things are going on. Time's jumped, but you're not quite sure how much time. Dealing with different people, and you've got to try and piece it all together. It's like a puzzle. But then by the time it comes to the end, everything's slotted into place and you're like, aha. And I really like that. In this one, we are following Nona, and Nona has been aware of consciousness for the last 6 months. And so she is very young because she's forgotten a lot of things. So mentally she's very, very young, but her body is that of an older teenager and she isn't really sure who she is. And she's with a couple of people that we met in previous books. 2 we met in the first book, 1 we met sort of in the second book, and so now they're all together. Also, the place has changed. It took a moment because it was a completely different setting, but it makes a lot of sense why it's so different. And we're slowly getting tidbits to piece together what's actually going on. As far as Nona's concerned, her main concern is her friends at school and trying to fit in with them and little things. Her birthday coming up and she wants a present, and you know, all these little things. And it's really interesting to read from such a childlike perspective, and it's being very like innocent and happy, but also frequently not paying attention to the things that she should be paying attention to. And then you as the reader are trying to work out who she is, what's going on, where you are, and what's happened. Like, you're trying to piece everything together because you've got Nona's perspective. You don't know what's gone on. You don't know what's happened. And so as the reader, you know a little bit more, but at the same time, you don't know everything because there's been that time jump and you're following different people to in Harrow. So you're trying to piece it all together. I really enjoy it. I'm having a lot of fun with it, but you really do need to focus. And yesterday I didn't read much of this. By the time it came around to me wanting to sit down and read, I was tired. So I just didn't really read that much of it yesterday. I am hoping this morning, plan is to read probably about 20 to 30 pages of Miss Benson's Beetle, and then read maybe for an hour or so before I head off to work from this book, because I'm more awake now so I can focus on it. But yeah, this week we're just not finishing a book. It's just not happening. But we have read quite a good amount of pages when you think about it, because I did read 200 pages from The Housekeepers. I've read 94 pages of this, and I've read another 97 pages of this. So, you know, page count wise, we've done great. We just haven't actually got anywhere. I'll probably check back in when I'm going to be wrapping this up. We'll see how far I've got into the books. We'll see where I am with Rainy's Winter-a-thon bingo and what this one can be. I actually think this could be a straight swap for The Housekeepers, because in all honesty, I haven't picked that book up for 2 days and I do not care. that I haven't done that. So I do think that one's going to be an actual DNF. I think this one's going to fit straight in for what that prompt was. But we'll do an overview of it in the next update, go over what everything's fitting for. I knew this week would be chaos, but I think because I was in that mood of I don't know what I want to read, I was reading so many different things at once, which I do enjoy, but nothing was really going, aha, yes, this is what I want to read, apart from the cozy book for the cozy new releases vlog. Yeah, I don't know, it's a weird reader mood paired with the game board just meant we had a bit of a chaos week. Okay, right, I'm rambling. I'm actually really hungry. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, not even book related, but I made that chili yesterday. Oh, I've just eaten, so my lipstick's all a mess. Anyway, so I made that chili yesterday, which is a staple that I used to do all the time when I was back at my mum's, because it was really easy to do. It kept me going for a couple of days. It was nice and easy. Except now I buy the kidney beans and chili sauce from a different shop, and it's been a while since I've made it here, and I totally forgot that it's completely different. So I just had some for lunch. I just reheated some for lunch, and it's just so tomatoey because the sauce that I get, so I like getting kidney beans in a chili sauce because that way you've already got a base, and I used to get it from a different shop where it had a lot more flavor to it, so I honestly only had to add a couple of extra things to get it to the taste how I wanted, and I did it as if it was that sauce, and it's not. Instead, this one from Sainsbury's, it might as well just be in a tomato sauce, and I forget about it. I was meant to not get it in that sauce again because I didn't like it, and so I've done the same thing, and I completely forgot that actually I needed to add so much more. So I did that today with my leftovers. I just like mixed in a couple of extra things, like extra like bit of soy sauce and loads of chili flakes, and I shouldn't have added in that tomato puree. That sauce in the tin is so tomato based, and so it just kind of, you don't really get any full flavor with it. Like I want chili, I want the heat from it all, I want the spices and stuff, and yeah, I forget that that sauce is just not great for it, which I know is a complete like tangent and nothing to do with books, but I know so many of you like my cooking stuff, and I think this is a good point to remember that everything should be like obviously to your taste and how you prefer it, and sometimes buying a sauce from two different shops can taste so freaking different even though it's labeled the same thing. So I always forget about that when it comes to doing these sort of things. Like it's been ages. I really wanted to do the chili because I haven't done that in a couple months, and I think that's because the last time I did it I didn't enjoy it because the sauce was so tomato based, and I did the exact same thing this time. Like it wasn't bad once I added in all the spices and soy sauce and all of that. It was actually pretty good, but it still wasn't as nice as how I used to prefer it because the base sauce is so different. Anyway, that was my little tangent about food. I'm going to do myself a cup of tea, sit down and read a little bit of this. It's Sunday afternoon and we are at the end of this weekly reading vlog, and I have not finished a book, which has probably been the first time in absolutely months that I've done that. I mean, technically I did finish a book for my cozy reading vlog, but that was a book that took me like a few weeks to read. It wasn't anything that I read inside 1 week, but in an actual 1 week reading space, did I finish a book? No, but I have had a good time. Yesterday I did go out to see Dracula at the local theatre, and that was really fun actually. I really enjoyed it. It made me want to reread Dracula for like the 5th time, but yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I did do a kind of stream get together with a bunch of booktubers that we were just talking about the upcoming plans for next year with Battle of the Booktube. If you don't know what that is, go check Danny's channel out. She is the host behind it all, and honestly it was great. It was a really nice evening just chatting with everyone and just having a really good time and getting battle plans ready. Reading wise this week, we've read a lot, but we haven't finished anything. So let's just tackle everything. We have been doing bucket list-athon. We've done the 3 roles so far. I have 3 left to do because I had that additional role, which I'll be carrying on into next week. The books for that was to read the oldest book on my TBR, which I did the oldest published out of my November TBR, which was Miss Benson's Beetle by Rachel Joyce, and this was a buddy read with Kat. However, Kat has since decided to DNF it, but I have got up to chapter 22, page 150, and my plan is to finish this next week. However, because it's no longer a buddy read, I may even drag it it a little bit longer because I like this, but I would rather take my time with it. This is not a book I want to binge all in one go. We know my thoughts on this book. I'm enjoying relationship between Enid and Marjorie and just seeing their back and forth, but also seeing how they challenge one another, try and get each other to go outside of their comfort zones and question things, and just how friendship like that is so important. And that's something I really am appreciating about this book, is just seeing that friendship. And this one, as I said, for Readathon will be going for a thrifted book. I'm not ticking it off yet because I haven't finished it. I do plan on finishing it before the month ends so that gets ticked off. Then the next one was to read a book on my TBR, so I decided to do the number generator, and it came up with Housekeepers by Alex Hay, and this is a book that I am deciding to DNF. I got halfway through and there's nothing particularly wrong with this book, but also it's a book where I can go, yeah, it's okay, but I'm probably not going to reread this one. And it's not one that I would recommend unless, of course, you like historical fiction, and this one having a bit of a heist mix thrown in. However, again, I'm missing that banter between the characters. I did go into this thinking it was going to be a lot more light-hearted than what it actually is. It's like Ocean's 11, but take out all of the fun from it. Instead, make it really, really, really serious. And it's like, not quite what I'm wanting. But again, that's on my thing of my expectations were wrong for this. I do think some people would really enjoy this one. For me, if I know I'm not going to reread this, then I'm not as interested in continuing on with a book that I just think is going to be an okay read, because I have so many books I want to get to. So that's a DNF. It was going to go on Readathon for 400 pages, but I haven't finished it, so I will not be counting that on Readathon. And then the third role, well, we just went for something completely different, didn't we? And I had a grand old time with it. What was this role for? Well, let me check. What is the last space we landed on? Can I remember? No. Oh yeah, end of year goal, which this was on my autumn TBR to read, which my seasonal TBR is like a yearly thing. Thinking about it, should I have done a book from my 24 to read from 2024? Yes, that would have been a perfect yearly goal to do. However, apart from like a couple things, there's nothing I really wanted to read on there. So yeah, we're going with this one. I have read more of this. I'm now in the middle of a chapter because I had to get ready to go out to the theatre, but I'm up to page 204, chapter 16, and I am enjoying this one. Like I say, it's a completely different environment and feel in a way to the first two books. It's done the same thing again, where in the first book you kind of had what was happening, the second book makes you question everything that happened in that first book, and now the third book is making you go, wait, where are we? What's going on? But something I am enjoying is it's almost like we're getting prequel parts. So like there are these little segments in here, they're like little chapters, and they'll crop up every so often, and we're following somebody else, and it's almost like a prequel to everything that happened in the first book, like what led up to this chain of events. And so I'm enjoying that and seeing how this is all coming together. And I do, like I've mentioned, I do like Nona. I like this world. I like the system of it all. We're not getting as much necromancy elements in this, which I kind of miss, but it also makes sense for what's happening in the book. But I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time with this one. I do plan on finishing this next week, and this one will now go in place for a book over 400 pages. So eventually we will get, hopefully, that first row going with a bingo, except of course it just hasn't happened this week because I haven't got a single one on there. Well, tell a lie, I have put in for magical creatures on the bingo board for the cozy book that I finished, but other than that, not much progress was made. But that's fine. It is what it is. I'm having a good time towards the end of this reading week. I feel a lot more confident in what I want to be reading, and I'm looking forward to going into next week, continuing on this chaos journey of the bucket list-athon. That is everything for this week. Wait. Quicksilver. I haven't read any more of it. I don't think I'm going to get this finished by the end of the month because I have had to start the book for the cozy new releases vlog instead as an ebook, so I don't think that's going to happen. And again, I think this is kind of on the same line as Housekeepers for me, where I'm like, it will be fine, it will be okay, but it's probably not going to be a book I would reread or continue on with or anything like that. Like, it's fine. Typical of that sort of romantasy genre, that is fine. But romantasy for me is not a favourite, but it is something that I like to use as a palette cleanser, and it worked brilliantly for that this week. So I am pleased with it, but it's just not going to be one that I invest loads of time into. So again, I don't think I'm going to get this finished for Readathon. You know what? It's something that I can pick up and put down occasionally and enjoy, and it will be fine. But okay, now that's everything. So thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you've been up to this week. Have you read any of these books? Have you finished any books lately? Let me know. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everyone that takes the time to watch these videos. Thank you. Almost forgot to say, if you made it this far but you just don't know what you want to comment, then why don't we just leave a dice emoji for all the different games and readathons and things that are going on this week, month, in the next few weeks. I'll leave that in the comments below. But again, thank you so much for watching, and if you have enjoyed this video, then please do consider giving it that thumbs up, subscribing and commenting. Those 3 things really help this channel out. My social media links and anyone I've mentioned will be linked below for you, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.